GM.
Good morning.
GM. Good morning.
Yep, that's good.
Good morrow.
What's happening?
Man, I'm hurting. We're good, though. What's happening with you?
Nothing much. Something in front of your camera?
Something in front of my camera? What's wrong with it?
It's a black screen.
You guys can't see my camera?
No.
You can't?
Nope.
That's not good.
Gonna be a radio show today.
I'm not sure. Hold on one sec.
Oh, it's just me? Well, I tricked him, and now he'll be back any minute.
Yeah, you got me.
Ah.
Y'all saw my friggin' disaster of an apartment, too. Way to... Cool.
Camera rugged.
Camera rugged.
Oh,
boy. How's everyone doing this morning? GM. St. Patrick's Day yesterday.
Yeah.
Either green beer or green plants.
Right. Yeah, I see that the cannabis industry pushing every year to convince people that's the green you should be imbibing. You know, they lean into that.
Give the Irish their one day. It's fine. No big deal. Look at all you. What's up, Zach? Kaiju Kings are here. Cosmos, Chipper, Vintage, Vinny, Loose, good morning.
Was
Cuggles.
it 6.4 ETH floor till some maniac undercut to 6.2 on the Kaiju? Some heartless maniac.
Unreal.
With no regard for society or decorum. I don't know.
Probably using it to buy Ape token. That was fun. Ape token went down yesterday.
Amazing.
I think we'll probably touch on that for a little bit.
Yes.
Like 3 hours after we got off the show on Wednesday, and I said, after we were looking at the Bored Ape roadmap, and I said, I don't know if Ape token's going to make it in March. Shame on me. The apes deliver.
They did. First quarter.
GM, ET, Bomber. Give everyone a minute to get piled in here. It's Friday, FMC. It's Friday. Raid Party's got a god in there.
Godly. God of the internet. Second within hours. And why is that good? Well, that's good because our yield goes up 100x when godlies are around.
Yes. Yeah.
I make about 30 confetti a day.
Is that what you're up to now? That's great.
Yeah. I make about 30 confetti a day. But yesterday, during the godly, where we had him for, I don't know, they last a few. What's nice about the godlies is they last longer than any other boss as well. It's the most amount of blocks before the godly goes away. I think I got 17 confetti in a few hours with the last godly.
Wow.
And like I said, normally that's your daily yield is twice that. Well, you get it in a couple hours when the godly shows up because your yield goes up 100x. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been getting, I think if I average it out, it's about 14. It should be a bit higher now. It should be like 15, 16 a day. which is it's pretty hard to complain about at this point.
Did you have one hero or two?
I just have the one hero going.
Because I was able to start another party just with that one hero.
Yeah.
And there's no fighters there, but the hero just sits there.
Yeah, just plugging away, earning some tokens, eh?
Yeah, it makes like, 3 confetti a day.
Sure.
$75 a day.
I'm gonna watch heroes, and if they get, I mean, I don't even know what they're at right now. I didn't check.
They're at 0.7, but any hero worth its salt right now is close to 1 ETH. If it's a 6 party size, it's above 1.
Actually, you know what? That might not be a bad plan. Maybe the next fighter that I'm able to summon, I'll do that. And if it's a good one, I'll keep it. And if it's a mediocre one, I'll floor it and use that money to buy
a hero.
A hero, yeah, and then just start there.
Yep.
Choices to be made. Free market, you want to do the drum roll? What's up, D-Gens? Good morning. It is Friday, March 18th, and this is episode 93 of the AlphaMint Morning Show, hosted live on YouTube and Twitch TV. Missed you guys yesterday, but I had a good day. It was fun. St. Patrick's Day. Got up to no good. Had a couple beverages. I am your host, R2DGen, and I'm joined with me, as always, by FMC.
Hey now.
Hey now. Free market. Nice to be back up here. This week was a little more fragmented than normal. Next week, be back to the regular schedule. I think that should work out pretty well. How are you doing today?
Fabulous.
Feeling good? Do you watch all of the ape token fireworks, I guess, go down? It was pretty crazy day. Yesterday was all ape token, though. That's all I saw.
Yep, it was all ape token. A lot of people sold right when they got it, around $6 to $8, and it is much higher than that today.
Yeah, this morning sitting at about $15 last time I checked. We'll touch on that in a little bit, though. Did you end up buying any?
No.
No, stayed out of the shitcoin market?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's only a double. That's not a great risk reward when I'm thinking about shitcoins, and I don't see it going to $60 anytime soon. So I in my head, if it had opened at $3, I wanted to buy it, but there was no opening at $3. So
yeah, you're still going to get a lot of the apes selling it into to use as liquidity and whatnot too. So interesting topic. We'll bring that up in a little bit. Let's take a look at the markets right now. ETH is doing well. Oh, never mind. No, ETH is over 2,800. My apologies. From the last time we checked, we were kind of sitting at 2,700. It's just continuing a slow, steady march up. The chart looks really nice when you look at it over the course of a week. But yeah, we're sitting at 7.5%. Bitcoin up 2.5%, sitting at $40,000 and $40,500. And again, kind of just going along with the macro and the S&Ps as they over the last couple of days have been red hot as well. Nice to see some green in my portfolio there.
Yeah, it came down to the Fed raising interest rates as was expected by 25 basis points. There were no surprises, and we have rallied very hard since then, as most and all of what can happen in that regard is priced in. We didn't get any surprises. The only thing that could take us lower right now are surprises, and so far things seem to be going in the direction we want and easing. So ETH rallied, S&Ps rallied, and now because of the new stimulus, NFTs are rallying at the same time.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a perfect storm going down here, and could be in for a little bit of a rally through the weekend too. Do you think we can sustain this run? What are you looking for going into next week? Or again, is it all just news based right now?
Well, the S&P just ran into resistance. So if it can get above 4,400 here, I would expect it to get to 4,500 and keep running, in which case ETH will get above 3,000. If the resistance holds it down here, we're just going to pause. That's my best guess is what happens. I think we're going to consolidate this weekend, probably not break above you know, the 2,800 level too hard, but if we do, 3,000 is next.
Yeah, it could just be off to the races if we break that resistance.
Indeed.
Awesome. Going through some news this morning. If you want some more bullish news, what's hot on Twitter? Cryptocurrency and NFT topics see a 242% growth. Twitter users have posted nearly 300 million tweets about cryptocurrency in the past 3 months alone. We often talk about attention and how this is an attention-driven market where people's eyes are back on crypto right now. Bored Ape token is obviously everywhere, but that's not even about this. Just in the last 3 months, the conversation behind all of these things has been growing and growing and growing. And oftentimes, when the conversation is growing, the attention continues to be put on it, bear market or not. It's always a good sign. The biggest thing that you would be worried about is if you were looking at these numbers being declined, people aren't interested anymore. People aren't talking about it anymore. I remember, back in 2018 when the market really took that huge crash downwards and altcoins got destroyed by 90, 95, 100% on some cases, and then we had that extended bear market for the better part of 2.5 years. There was no attention there. People just stopped talking about it. Everything just dried up, podcasts dried up. The conversation with your friends, it wasn't on social media. People weren't memeing it anymore. Right now, that's not the case, right? Like it's still kind of the talk of the town, particularly on Twitter, but we're seeing it grow on Instagram and a little bit on Facebook too.
Right. These are attention tokens, period. It's very, it pulls the curtain back and shows you who Oz is. But in reality, none of these fucking things have utility, right? Everyone wants to know, what does the coin do? What is these are attention tokens. And the reason SHIB and Doge are at the top of the market cap list is because everybody knows who they are, period. More people know what Doge is than probably any other crypto in the world, arguably even Bitcoin. All right. That is why Doge remains where it is. It is the marketing. And that marketing is a direct result of the memes. That's why NFTs are so powerful. They are walking memes. Okay. And this is really, as a project creator, the only thing you should be thinking about. How do I keep attention on my token? And we can see right now that, everybody's attention is on them. And I think really one of the big reasons for that is the hexagon. I talk about it all the time. This hexagon is causing discussion. People don't understand what it is. Why? Everybody on Twitter now sees it, whether they knew what an NFT was or not. And it's causing people to click and learn and wonder and find out. This is all happening at the same time as Ape Token and Nike and large entities from Web 2 are moving into this space. You're about to see it all culminate in the greatest bull market of our lives this summer. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about, attention. It's kind of funny. You were saying that people might actually, or Doge might be more familiar to people as a cryptocurrency than maybe even Bitcoin. Lately, what my experience has been with people referring to Bitcoin, you remember like back when we were young and like video game consoles were just coming out and you had all these different, the PlayStation, the Xbox, and people still referred to them as like the Nintendos. Everything was the Nintendo. You had a Sega. Oh, play your Nintendo. Bitcoin is almost like that now, right? Where everyone's just like, oh, it's the Bitcoins. It's like all of these things are Bitcoins. It's almost just like this like overarching name that people refer to that are outside of it as crypto. And then Doge might actually be the number one thing that people are seeing out there. I mean,
I would actually argue that Bitcoin is Pong, and Nintendo is Doge, and PlayStation is NFTs.
Okay, PlayStation. So you think?
I'm just curious to see what the Xbox will be.
I don't know. I was never much of an Xbox person. I would
Yeah,
maybe.
but if you ask gamers, it's pretty much the universal choice amongst, doing the stuff that gamers do. I don't know what they do, but they do things, and the Xbox seems to help them do that. But yeah, that's
All right. Xbox
no.
versus.
So I think the main point here is Bitcoin is obsolete, pointless, and really, when it comes down to it, Doge is a better meme. And that the Bitcoin's the problem with Bitcoin is that a better meme could always come along. It was the first meme, but I don't know what that's going to mean a lot going forward, as I think Doge is a better meme. It's cheaper to use. It's better as a financial transactional layer, and you can actually build things on top of ETH. I feel like Doge and ETH are the only things that should exist going forward. Doge.
Well, hey, I mean, like when you have someone like Elon Musk that is just tweeting about Doge nonstop, right? He's the richest memer in the world, I guess, for
Well,
sure.
I mean, it really is the point, though. Like,
Yeah,
Bitcoin
no, it's
doesn't do anything. Doge does a lot, and people actually know what it is. Your average Gen Zer doesn't know what Bitcoin is. It's old. It's stupid.
you were ripping on the Bitcoin this morning, eh? Woke up, it shows Bitcoin violence.
It angers me how it's still relevant. It should be a bottom 30, bottom 40 coin.
Speaking, well, we're talking about Ethereum. Ethereum 2.0 coming in Q2 will lay to rest energy concerns, according to Joe Lubin. Despite delays, Lubin stands by his estimate that ETH 2.0 will arrive in Q2 or possibly slipping into Q3 of this year. We were talking a little bit about this in the pre-show, and this is kind of maybe the last hurdle that ETH has to really just leave all of the other L1s in the dust. I mean, we talk about Solana, talk about Tezos, that they're environmentally friendly, low transaction fees and whatnot. If ETH 2.0 is as successful as we think it is, and again, they've been working on this for a long time, because the importance of getting this right is of the utmost importance. That was redundant. Anyways, my point is, they can't fuck this up. They really can't, and they're taking their time to do so. They seem to be on the precipice of launching this, and once ETH has lower gas fees, all these other L1s don't have a leg to stand on. Once ETH has no environmental concerns, they don't have a leg to stand on. All of the development is already on ETH. All of the NFTs are already on ETH. DeFi already on ETH. All of that stuff already exists. And once this comes into effect, provided it scales all properly and everything just works when they do this, I think it's pretty much over for everything else. I don't think that you can justify the existence of these other tokens for much longer once this hits. I don't know if you would agree with that. I know you don't love the other tokens anyway, so this is obviously...
I can't even justify the existence of ETH2. I'm very happy with ETH. I don't understand what everybody is complaining about. I would be fine if we just stayed here on ETH1. It's working great for me. I don't know what the hell everyone needs ETH2 for, but ETH1 is perfect. ETH2 is going to be even better. Thank you, Vitalik. Thank you.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they actually meet their deadlines on this one, because as far as I'm concerned, it's always been 6 months away for the past 5 years. But they seem to be pretty certain. Obviously, there's tokens being staked in there right now, yields are being earned and whatnot, and eventually they're going to flip the switch on this. So very bullish, and I think that we'll see an absolute tear on ETH once that actually goes live. Again, provided everything works out properly for them.
Yep.
GameStop. Always talk about GameStop. Talk about memes. GameStop is the kind of the meme of the stock market in the last 18 months and all of that great stuff. We've talked about them moving into Web3. They are expected to launch their NFT marketplace by the end of the second quarter of 2022 as well, giving GameStop until June 30th to come good on its promise. Again, I don't really know what this ends up looking like, but we're seeing a lot of Web 2.0 brands, really just start to lean on Web3 as a crutch. You know, AMC is doing stuff as well. That was one of the meme stocks of last year too. And you know, we're getting to this point where, you know, Web3, NFTs, tokenization, DAOs might just be the way that these brands are looking to revitalize themselves and you know, bring themselves into the future, whether or not it works. But the, you know, the article goes on to talk about BlackBerry, Nokia, Bed Bath and Beyond. Maybe those are things to look at as well. But yeah, GameStop NFT Marketplace.
They should call it GameStop 2.0. That would be very no. I think that these are two of the best memes of the last few years colliding, and only good things can come from it. While I would not own GameStop's stonk, as many people like to, I would own crypto assets that will be sold on the GameStonk. So.
Oh yeah, once the stonk degens get into that, and again, like you know, if I think GameStop actually did a lot to get people into crypto in the first place, when we were talking about Robinhood freezing trading, pausing stuff, and all of that stuff. I think people started to, on that side of the fence, started to realize the power that these centralized entities hold, and you know, they can just turn things on and off at their whimsy to benefit themselves, and then, you know, saw a lot of people, especially in that Wall Street bets, move into crypto at the end of it. But yeah, I mean, GameStop, I think, is going to do even more to bring people into the NFT marketplace. I have no idea what they're intending on selling this. I would imagine that it would be game related NFTs, but we'll see what the future holds for GameStop. But you know, I actually think this is going to be a little bit of a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, Chris Vincent is saying GME definitely got him into crypto and investing. I mean, it did. It sucked up a lot of people. A lot of people are, you know, more familiar with the stock market because of it, and I think we're better off from it.
I love how angry it made the old guard on Wall Street.
Really was a wild time. Like that, like these hedge funds that are controlling hundreds of billions of dollars in assets are just like, you know, get the pitchforks out about, oh, they're ruining our stock market, right?
Well, I mean, R2, it's all about marketing. This is all this. It's all they knew what was going on. It was all part of the show, and you have to understand. By the second week of that whole phenomena, it was hedge funds who were pressing the shorts just as much as, you know, Tom, Dick, and Harry on their Robinhood apps doing it. In fact, it was a lot more them than the public. So it was a bit of a false narrative of this, like, oh, the little man is finally beating Wall Street.
Right,
It was a complete bullshit narrative that the media ran with because it's a good story. And hedge funds would play into it because, again, everybody was making money. There was like 3 guys who were mostly short GameStop. And, you know, in that world, everyone will eat everybody alive. Nobody gives a shit. They are out to put you out of business. Hedge funds will get together and figure out how to press you into bankruptcy. So.
Well, and everyone was like, you know, there was like, oh, sticking it to Citadel, they're going to lose so much, and we're going to put this in. The fact that Citadel is now like a household name is worth a lot to them too, right? Like they're a fucking brand now. This guy's, you know, he's everywhere.
Citadel makes more money in 1 second than you will ever make in your entire life. I'm telling you all right now, listening to this show.
Yeah. There was, I mean, they were never going to be going bankrupt over
GameStop. Fucking banging spreads on the NYSE right now is making more in a millisecond than any of us will make this year.
Chris also saying the Mets owner lost like $1 billion. That's a win in and of itself. You're a Mets fan, aren't you? I know that's not true.
First baseball game I ever went to was a Mets game.
Was it
Pirates? Yeah,
the Mets Pirates.
Foul ball came right fucking. Oh man, it was a thrill.
Did you catch it?
No.
Oh, you just missed it?
Yeah. Everyone stood up. I was very young. I still remember.
I've never been fortunate enough to catch a foul ball or a home run. Maybe I'm just sitting in the wrong seats.
Yeah.
Fans of Captain Marvel's Brie Larson are not happy she's pushing NFTs. Brie Larson, who plays Captain Marvel, has been criticized by fans on social media for flexing her little corner of the metaverse. Brie put out a tweet of, a digital gallery of her walking around it with a Meebit and somebody else there, looking at all of the artwork on the walls and whatnot. And boy, again, the fans are out in droves, criticizing them for cash grabs, money grabs, ruining the environment. Very, very bullish stuff, if you ask me.
In today's edition of You're Still Early.
yeah, I feel like I got to touch on that at least once, but just be nice to Brie.
If I were Decrypt or another up and coming crypto blog like Blockster or something, I would make a segment titled "You're Still Early," and then I would run stories like this. And I think that is how you barstool sportsify your shit and become popular. And that tipping feature on Twitter, if you would like to pay me.
You have what?
Suggestion. There's a tipping feature. You can now give me ETH right on Twitter.
Is that live now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It used to only be the Bitcoin, but I didn't activate it when it was only the Bitcoin because I didn't need that shit in my wallet infecting everything else. But now that it's ETH, it is activated. Tip away, everybody. Tip away.
That's at Free Market Capitalist.
Don't you send me any Bitcoin. I will send that shit right to the burn wallet.
Oh. You can swap it for ETH. You know that, right?
Mm.
New job openings at Spotify indicate a move into Web3 technology as well. Spotify hiring engineers that are specialized and have expertise in Web3 technologies. Again, the big moves, I think, are going to be music over the next course of the year. We've said that more times than not. But Spotify, the biggest music platform in the world, and they're looking to add on to their team with some expertise here. I have no idea. What do you think Spotify could incorporate in terms of that? Are we talking NFT profile pictures or a marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, I would think a marketplace makes sense as NFT music NFTs. While we've seen some attempts at it, I think are held back by technology in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Spotify, Apple, these are the places that will provide the technology. I mean, you're not just going to start a music marketplace and compete with these entities. You would expect them to be the ones to start rolling out features that utilize NFTs. So, I mean, we've talked about a lot of different ways that you could leverage music or sound with non-fungible tokens. I think there's a lot of possibilities, so I'm not surprised Spotify is moving into it. I think these are threats to their model, not immediately, and it's hard for people to see, but it's like when the iPod came out, right?
Yeah.
It was, it took a couple years, but Steve Jobs basically went to every music label and was like, you're going to go out of business. You have one choice right now. That is come to iTunes or become obsolete. And they did. And I think that the music industry in particular they're very aware of that now. There was a very prevalent narrative during the noughts that the music industry did not move quick enough. They did not see this threat coming. And I don't think they're going to let that happen again with non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, it's such a good point because, the technology that was, the pace of technology growth in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, headed towards 2010, was so parabolic that, I don't, at first seemed like a fad, like, oh, the internet, it crashed, it's over. It's just it's a thing. It just exists. They didn't realize at the time, because they weren't looking far enough forward, how like truly disruptive all of that stuff is. And like you said, I don't think they're willing to get caught with their pants down again. You know, they got super, like they just got fucking wrecked when, you know, Napster and LimeWire, which we, you know, mentioned on the show is doing a Web3 thing too, came out. And I mean, they were scrambling, they were suing anybody that they could, you know, lay eyes on to try and figure out how to get it all to stop. And, you know, even was just with music streaming, once bandwidth became abundant and basically free, you know, the idea of having to download stuff just went away because these files aren't that big at the end of the day now. So again, it's all about looking forward. Spotify disrupted the music industry the same way iTunes did, and the iPad, and like, you know, but now, again, they know that this is fleeting.
Yeah. And, you know, it was a very, like, the music industry didn't just ignore it. They weren't just like, la, 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 this isn't happening. They actually like fought against it. Like, if you remember, they were like, you know, instead of trying to embrace digital technology, they were like, we are just going to sue anybody that attempts to do this. And it was the absolute wrong way to go about it. And like you said, I don't think they're going to make that mistake again. Steve Jobs was essentially holding out an olive branch while it seemed like he was basically saying like, oh, get down or we're going to destroy you. He was like, no, you are being destroyed. This is your olive branch. This is your only way to get out of this. So I think in a sense they've learned their lesson, but Spotify did it to Apple again. You know, Apple dominated digital music, absolutely dominated it because of the play they made with music studios, and they completely missed streaming. It was a blind spot for Apple. Spotify came up and absolutely ate their lunch. They're ubiquitous with streaming. And sure, when you own an Apple product, if you're a new Apple customer, if you're native, a lot of times you will use Apple Music. I use it, but there's the social factor. I think kids, you know, all their friends are on Spotify, and there are those small social aspects of what bands are you listening to? Let's share a play, all that stuff that I think it's just a lead that Apple can never catch back up to at this point, even with the Beats acquisition.
Even just in their integration into Discord, right? Like you can choose to put it on. Yeah. You can see that somebody's listening to something. You can click on that button, and then you can like actually play at the same time that they're playing too. Like that's, you know, they're really getting the social thing. The other cool thing was like, you know, we had some people over last night, had music, you know, playing on the speakers, and anybody that's connected to the Youre network can actually add music onto the playlist and stuff like that too, right? It's really cool stuff. And so I mean, Spotify moving into Web3 is you know, probably the obvious thing. Again, what comes out of it, you know, we're still going to be watching, but they're
I don't even know. I think it's hard to say exactly how the music industry will approach NFTs, but I think just what was the original issue was digital rights, right? Like that was what the whole download, Napster, iTunes thing came down to. And NFTs speak exactly to that. They speak to provenance, ownership, and digital rights. So
yeah, I would love to see them get into like some support of like small or newer bands in the form of that too, right? Like some crowdsource funding, things like that.
I mean, if we're gonna have a bearish angle on Spotify, musicians, hey, you know, I know the kids love Spotify, the user loves Spotify, musicians hate Spotify, and Apple Music actually gets the nod in that respect because they pay musicians a lot more per song play than Spotify. It was I would say if it was one of the smart things Apple did is they saw that was the one weakness with Spotify, and they've been leaning into it pretty hard. And trying to support musicians and all that stuff.
Yeah, the other thing that Spotify could do, which NFTs are perfect for, is I think being like a ticket marketplace, like concert tickets.
Right.
I mean, like, you know, you go on, you can already see the tour dates. Obviously, they've been few and far between over the past 2 years with COVID and stuff, and bands not really committing to like these big tours. But, you know, you click on a band, you see all the tour dates. Imagine just being able to go in, your ETH wallet's connected. Oh, I can buy tickets to this concert. Poof. Now you have basically a PO app in it too. Maybe you can sell it if you need to, whatever. Like there's actually a ton of opportunities that Spotify could be looking into here. I think tickets are my one of my big things that I'm most excited for the future with NFTs. I think they
Yeah.
work so well there.
I'll tell you what felt pretty profound was checking out for Coolman's and Lemon merch with ETH. Like, I know people don't like to spend crypto for stuff, but that is the eventual future. And boy, did it, I don't know, it felt like the idea of being able to just purchase something just so easily, like I don't know, it directly debits the thing that's there on your computer. It's not like the info goes to a bank and it takes 30, like whatever. It was just like, I don't know, it felt very good, very natural. I look forward to a day when you can pay for things in crypto like that very seamlessly. It felt amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's going down in El Salvador right now, and apparently, to varying degrees of success. But people that I've listened to and heard talk about it, I mean, you have you know, the QR code or the scanner or whatever. You just go in, swipe, and then the confirmation goes through. Boom, walk out with your coffee. I got to say, you said remembering that you can actually spend your crypto on stuff. Like, my life changed once I realized that like that money can show up into my bank, and all of a sudden like I'm experiencing a higher quality of life because I've cashed out a little bit of my crypto. I'm not like going super deep into the coffers to buy a Lambo or anything like that, but you know what I mean? Like, it is,
Well, and
taking profits, living with it is good.
hat tip to all the Bored Apes right now. I think a lot of them are feeling that. I mean, I personally know
Fuck
some
yeah.
apes who, I mean, they've had a tough time even participating in the NFT bull. Not a lot of all my liquids in an ape or something like that. And I mean, shout out to the homie Emil yesterday, who was able to pay off his mother's debt with his ape
Right.
coin,
From an
right?
airdrop, right? Like, that's unreal.
Yeah, I mean, it, like, he lives in the Dominican Republic. This is an amazing guy. And yesterday he surprised his mother, paid off her debt. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, when you hear about like actual real world stuff, coming from Web3 into your real life is that's what it is actually all about. Great segue into ApeCoin, because that has been the talk of the town over the past 48 hours. ApeCoin, they announced on Wednesday afternoon that it would be dropping yesterday at 8:30, and it did. The ApeCoin is important that it's not actually been produced by Yuga Labs. This is basically a DAO, a governance token that has been done by a board, including the founder of Reddit, Alexei Ohanian, and yeah, I mean, the Bored Ape original BAYC holders were the big winners here. I believe they got about 5 times as much token as the Mutant Ape holders. The Bored Ape Kennel Club didn't get any direct drops, but if you had one of the dogs with either a mutant or an ape, you got a little bit of a bonus. I think it was about 500 tokens in there as well. And it debuted.
No, it was like 3,000. There was a few thousand on top. If you had
for the Bored Ape Kennel Club?
Yeah, if you had the dog with the mutant, it added an extra couple thousand, I think.
Oh, okay. I must have misread that then. I saw one of the I had it pulled up, and I think I
People
closed it by
were
accident.
watching dogs yesterday. Like, it was amazing to see. There were a few cool things that happened yesterday. Someone had anticipated this and programmed a bot to flash loan apes out of the NFTX vault, and literally instantly in a block they would borrow the ape, claim the token, and sell it back to the NFT and give it back to the NFTX vault. You pay off the small vig for the loan, and they got to claim all that ape token. They did it with all the apes that they could in the NFTX vault. And then you saw people wash trading dogs. Like, anybody who had a mutant and wanted the multiplier, they'd pick a dog up and then sell it right away. Again, even if it was for a small loss or a small gain, obviously the ape token more than made up for that. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. So right now, ApeCoin, sorry, is sitting at $13.62, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, it was down as low as $7.50.
I said, God fucking bless them.
Yeah, I mean, it's only dipped as low as $7.50. It did get up to $17, $18 there very briefly before pulling back a little bit. But when you look at the distribution, I mean, you're talking 10,094 tokens for Bored Ape holders, 2,042 tokens for Mutant Ape holders. We're sitting at $130,000 of an airdrop right now. And I mean, it's liquid. I mean, you could just sell that. You're not moving the market. It's not like it's, a single dump is going to take this down by 50% or anything. So, I mean, everybody wants in on the Ape token. This is by far the most easily accessible way right now for people to participate in, Yuga Labs, their ecosystem that they're building. It is, again, it's a governance token. So one token equals one vote. You'll be able to load up on that if that's the game you're playing. And I'm sure there are a lot of people that are looking to control large votes there as they start to load up on the token too. But I mean, there's also holders that, they have 100 Bored Apes in their wallet, and they just claimed several $1 million in the ape coin. So this is amazing. This is fun. Yuga Labs continues to deliver. They continue to kind of hit all the right notes and do all this stuff. But I think the biggest thing, like you said, was, this is going to be a liquidity infusion for a lot of Bored Apes who maybe haven't had a lot. Again, we've talked about it so many times. The really, really difficult thing about having a Bored Ape, especially from its early onset, is that idea that maybe you only have a couple of these or one. And, it's very hard to justify selling it, even if it's 95% of your portfolio, because at the end of the day, you want to be part of that club. Well, guess what? I mean, you basically just got to fractionalize your Bored Ape and sell, up to half of its value in terms of ApeCoin. And now, what are you going to do? You can participate in NFTs. Floors are depressed right now. It's a great time to go shopping. I think that, this is going to be the start of a really great run in NFTs.
Dingaling was airdropped 1.4 million ape yesterday for his 100.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, that was, yeah. I couldn't remember the name on it. I knew it was a big name like that, but Dingaling, yeah.
I don't know, man. I couldn't fucking be happier. This is the greatest thing that I've ever seen. It is now easily one of the top investments of all time. You're talking about over 2,000x from where, and we're talking about an investment that a lot of people participated in, right? This isn't one guy who leaned into SHIB hard or whatever. This is truly one of the greatest things I've ever seen in all markets ever. And I'm so happy for anybody that held. I mean, they diamond handed these monkey picks and got a 6-figure airdrop here. Fucking incredible. Love it. I think we're already seeing the trickle down effect of this into small and medium collections. I mean, it's starting with Azuki and 3 landers. It is going to trickle down into everything else as, doodles and Azukis cash out to apes who want to buy that. And then 3 landers and kaijus cash out to the doodles who wanted to and it's just going to keep trickling down. We are entering a perfect storm here for NFTs. Maybe there's a bit of a pause if ETH really starts to rally hard, because markets are set up really bullish here. They just got a little too bearish, and there could be a pretty big snapback. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I expect it to absolutely rain upon the NFT market for a long time because of this token. I think it can get up to $25 here before there's any meaningful pullback, but I don't even think it's going to pull back. Shit, if it was sitting at $8, people would be very happy. It would still be one of the greatest airdrops, probably the greatest airdrop we've ever seen. And I think that Bored Ape Yacht Club, I have talked about a lot, that they are eventually setting themselves up for, I mean, maybe disaster is the wrong word, but they're very dependent on their roadmap and they have to execute. And one day they will not, but yesterday was one of the greatest executions we've ever seen in crypto, as we know how messy and fucked crypto can be in a lot of ways. These are just the best that have ever done it. It's a pleasure to watch, and I expect them to continue to execute on this level.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the way that they've handled the marketing through this all and leading up to these kind of announcements has been absolutely flawless too. I mean, it's definitely not by mistake that they had just announced the purchase of CryptoPunks and Meebits, right? Like this was a obviously a very planned series of events, all kind of, I think, culminating in this moment right now. Everybody knew Ape token was, or ApeCoin was coming. It was on the horizon. We know when Q2. Okay, well, let's see if that happened. I was way off the mark by saying I didn't think they were going to hit March, but that was that was on me, and that was a pretty loose opinion. But they come out, they buy CryptoPunks, and now everybody's talking about Bored Apes, and again, it's just like in this hype cycle, as if people weren't. The floor was a little bit depressed, and boom, it shoots right back up to 100 ETH, and then all of a sudden on Wednesday, it's just like, yeah, Ape token's going live tomorrow, 8:30, boom, everyone set their alarm. I think that was probably the earliest that most people had ever woken up to do something. But 8:30 in the morning, this thing goes down. There was no delays. There was no shenanigans, and the liquidity, they had everything set to go, and it just hit the ground. And now there's just this commotion, this buzz. And again, we do this probably every month at this point, where apes is just all anybody's talking about. They're so good at maintaining their relevance. They're so good at carefully hitting those roadmaps. And you're right. Like, they do rely on that, but so far their track record is pretty spotless. And there may come a day where they miss the mark on it, but yesterday was definitely not that day.
I am
And
not saying this lightly. They are the best that has ever done it. Period. Bored Apes are the best that's ever done it. We were sitting here last summer and asking with a serious face, will apes flip punks? Will apes flip punks? That was the question. Not only did Ape flip punks, they bought them, and they just released the greatest airdrop that all of crypto, regardless of the chain, regardless of the situation, has ever seen in history. And Dikenza, I disagree with you completely. ApeCoin needs zero utility. They don't ever need to do anything with ApeCoin. What does Doge do? What is the utility of Doge?
mm-hmm.
The only thing Bored Apes ever need to do is keep themselves in the conversation. And with Gaio Siri at the helm, that is a very, very good chance they're going to be able to do that. So I don't think I think they're gonna give it utility. I think of course, they're not just gonna do nothing with it, but I 100% believe that this is all about marketing. It's all about attention, and I think Ape Token will do very well only on that alone. Were Ape Token to have the market cap of Doge, it would be $130 per coin.
Yeah, and again, like, it could do that. I mean, if NFTs are this small right now, and the rest of the crypto is like, I can't even fit it into the room, and we start to approach that. I mean, Ape it's got to be the de facto NFT coin, right? Like, is that wrong?
Yeah. No, well, I absolutely. I don't even. It's less to me about being the NFT coin and much more about just being exposure to apes. The more apes are in popular culture and the cooler they are, again, the entry into the Bored Ape yacht ecosystem now is $13. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that would buy a coin for $13 and wear that coin as their PFP the next day and say ApeCoin, follow ApeCoin hashtag. And I just think that it's all about demand, and there's going to be a ton of demand for that going forward. And who knows how many ape coins you can burn to get into an Ape Fest event, whether you own an ape or not.
I think that's the biggest discussion, is that I really do actually see this powering their entire ecosystem. I have no doubt that there's going to be fiat onboarding, being able to buy it pretty seamlessly, going on Coinbase, all these exchanges, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's probably going to be pretty easy to get your hands on Ape. But I would imagine, their merch is going to be priced in ApeCoin. Their get-togethers, their shows, their events are all going to be priced in ApeCoin. And there's I would imagine a burning mechanism involved in that too, right?
Have we ever I'm sorry. I was gonna say, have we ever seen a more successful launch of a token? I'm talking across anything, across any. They were on every centralized exchange day of. It was the most seamless launch you have ever seen for any token ever, especially a high profile one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm reading the chat right now. Sorry, guys, while we were in the conversation. Empez, if you want to share some alpha, like go right ahead in the chat there. Just refrain from links, just because I hate when people jump in and click links right away. We are here to share. We're here to talk and
Still us,
discuss and see
baby.
things.
Still us.
Yeah.
Still us.
You're all good. As long as there's nothing malicious in there. So yeah, just refrain from links, but you're more than welcome to talk about it in the chat. Lots of discussion going on with this. Cass is pointing out that the Fanta Bears had a massive pump on the back of this. First I just want to say, Bored Apes ran back up over 100 ETH very briefly there. Mutant Apes went on a run. They were the first recipients of it as people were trying to get their hands on it. And then, I don't really pull up WGMI very often anymore, but just, for ease of finding some floors that are doing great. Fanta Bears has been on an incredible run. It was down as low as 0.63 ETH the other day, which is actually pretty amazing considering Fanta Bears was sitting at or ran up to about 5 ETH before. But that floor was not there for long. It is going on a bit of a run here. It was up to 1.5, 1.6. And they're moving back into that echelon. Again, there was a lot of excitement, a lot of hype around the people that were on board with this, promoting this, especially in the Asian communities and whatnot. So if you were looking at Fanta Bears and pulled the trigger on it, this is definitely those ones that we're seeing have a run. Again, it's not like every single floor on every project is having that run up, but like Free Market said when he was talking about how that ripple effect goes, you get these big sums of liquidity, they start to shop for tier 2 NFTs. So you'd be looking at like Doodles, Azuki is a great one that's up to 12.6 ETH floor again. Was sitting as low last week as 8.88 ETH. So, about 50% up from there. That's, this is the kind of tier of NFTs that people with this huge liquidity infusion are going to be looking for because they can afford it. But on the other end of that sale is somebody who actually gave away the NFT for 12 ETH. Now they're going to be looking maybe at some tier 3 NFTs, right? So we're going to start to see that liquidity really ripple through the entire ecosystem and really start to jumpstart all of this stuff. It doesn't happen immediately, but I think by, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, barring any crazy news, we're going to be having a whole other discussion. And it's going to be like in the chat, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? This floor is ripping, that floor is ripping. It is just at the end of the day, it's going to be everything's ripping. So Fanta Bear going on a great run. Azuki is going on a great run. Cyber Brokers is bouncing back a little bit too as people start to get in that. Three-landers up from 1.55 ETH last week to 2.2, getting some serious volume out of there. And as Cass also said, Habibi's is going on a run. That thing is now over, I have it on a different tab, but basically a 1.2 ETH floor. So, keep an eye out now, and maybe now is the time you start looking for those tier 3, tier 4 NFTs as you start to watch that liquidity ripple through.
The homie Pranksy was gonna grab 55 cyber brokers the other night at 2 ETH, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna wait for it to dip a little lower," and he went to bed. And they did dip lower, but when he woke up, they were already mooning, and he was the sadness because of it.
Yeah, he only got 50 of them. Was that?
No, he didn't pull the trigger. He was like,
oh.
The other night he was sitting there looking at the cyber brokers. They had gotten up to 5 ETH. They had that big pullback. I think they got down to 1.6, but he was looking at them at 2. And he was like, I was going to pull the trigger on 50 of them, and he didn't. And then when he woke up this morning and came in and saw them, he was like, fuck.
I'm sure Pranksy will be all right. He's got his hands full with a raid party right now.
I said, can't win them all. You'll get them next time, champ. He did not seem to like that in the least.
Oh, okay. So that was the screenshot that you shared from a Discord chat. Yeah. Okay.
I love you, Pranksy. I was just having some fun.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'm gonna throw the restream link up here. We're hitting about an hour into the show. If anybody from the Moon Lounge wants to join up, turn some music on, vibe out. We'll start looking at some of these projects that are being the recipients of pumps. And maybe you'd love it.
Oh my God! I mean, Cass, is this what's going to happen to Chain Scouts? I just want you to promise me, Cass, this is the same thing that's going to happen to Chain Scouts over the next 3 or 4 months.
Ooh, I haven't checked in on Chain Scouts lately.
Don't
look. Okay.
Don't look. Don't look. It's not worth it. Cass,
Yeah, for sure.
Here. Talk to us about things.
Yeah. So yeah, BB's some things that are launching today. I've seen some people in the DGen Dojo excited about it. Is Crypto Craft
How
game.
many times are we going to do this? We already had the NFT Worlds. We had the Critters. Come on.
I think people were just salty about Blockverse and are looking to get it back. But you know, this is minting. The pre-sale's going down today.
Yeah. Is it built on NFT Worlds, or is this now another Minecraft server that has been turned into P2E?
Yeah, it's another Minecraft server. Though.
Right.
Yeah. Hey,
what's the point? What are each of these doing differently than the other that's so magnificent here?
I think they're just taking the cues from the other ones, and everybody has their own opinion on what they did right and wrong.
I've been hearing about them.
Yeah, I mean, Critter's still going strong. Who knows? Could be. I mean, here's the thing, right? They're 0.05. They're pretty palatable mint price. So,
I retweeted something yesterday that I thought was such a profound statement because it just matches up with how I view investments and trading. But it was 12-year-old with a credit card. Do you know this crypto Twitter account? One of my favorite. He's not actually 12. The name of the 12-year-old,
but I want to see it now
or whatever. He said, "Your hatred for Bored Ape Yacht Club will propel them to wealth beyond your wildest imaginations." And it's so true. If you look at the amount of hate and vitriol and salt there is over this ape drop, I could totally see it fucking ripping to a Doge, not necessarily in this same cycle, like not on this initial pump, but over the course of this year as they continue to execute, could this get to a Doge like market cap in a fucking second? In my that's not even a question in my mind. At which point the airdrop to every Bored Ape Yacht Club member would be worth $1.3 million. $1.3 million. And I think it's going to happen. God bless them.
Well, I mean,
love crypto.
Let's look at the top 10 or top 20. Like why can't Ape token be in there? I'm sure its existence is a lot more notable and relevant and justified than a lot of this. I mean, Cardano just continues to do nothing.
The biggest trap in all of crypto is market cap. It's why people miss things like SHIB, Doge, or ApeCoin, because they can't wrap their fucking head around. They don't understand how absolutely pointless market capitalization metrics are when we're talking about motherfucking attention tokens. None of these things do anything. These aren't stocks. They're not selling you a product. It's an attention token. The market cap is absolutely irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant.
It'll be a top 10 crypto. I don't know.
I bought a BGON the other day too.
Did you? Oh yeah, you did on the show. Yeah. Alan got into BGONs and losers.
I just I think they are going to be one of the beneficiaries of this CCO movement now that MFers and Cryptodes and Nouns DAO and a few other projects lean into, and people like DC Investor consider very important. And it's a great movement, and it's a fabulous thesis. There's a few ways to play it. Looking out this next year. Love BGONs and MFers. Really good. Yeah, yo,
Crypto
dead
dick
ass.
butts,
Crypto
yeah.
dick butts. I love crypto dick butts. The original ones, not the dickle butts or whatever fucking.
Every single derivative that's come out of crypto dick butts at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point.
the
That sounded weird when
original.
you say come out of crypto dick butts. Oh my god. I'm fucking hurting, man. Whew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw ZombieClub is just still going on a tear.
I was really impressed with it till I saw what the mint price was. It was like 0.66.
On ZombieClub?
Yeah. And again, the thing with ZombieClub is I actually like them. I would want to own this because I like the way it looks and I want it. You know, some things you see, you go, oh yes, I want that. And this I see, and oh, I want that.
Pre-reveal thing looks nice.
At the current price, what is a good amount of ape that you would buy? Diddy, that would be 0. I would not buy any ape at this price.
What price would you look at?
Or
you just
buy it at $7
content-
or $8 if it got back to $7 or $8. I mean, my plan was to buy it at 3 or 4. I think we were all remember estimates were like ape will be $1 to $3 I was like, all right, I'd buy the high end of that range. I'd buy $3. We didn't even remotely have a chance to do that. It has just been, you know, absolute fucking tear. I just don't change. Again, it's not about, you know, let's say you buy it here and it goes to 26, right? You've gotten 100%. Like that's all you've made. And I know that's a decent gain elsewhere in crypto. That's not a lot. And it's just, it would be so easy for this thing to fall back to $8 on a fucking whim. I mean, it wouldn't take anything to put this thing back to $8. And then you're sitting minus 35%. Yeah, I would not buy ape token. You buy it when it pulls back, and yeah, like R2, so I would target $7 or $8 on a pullback if it got there. I just, you know, I do think it could see 25 on this initial cycle. I do.
Yeah, I mean all the excitement and the attention's on it now, so it's gonna have a lot of eyes on it to continue to prop it up for a little bit. But you know, the span of attention in this market is so short. You know,
yeah, we
move on in a week, right?
We were this excited about looks. I mean, again, you know, I think that there was no cult around looks when looks dropped. Like, yes, we're all like extremely bullish about the concept of a cheaper, decentralized marketplace in which we all share in the profits. I couldn't be more bullish on that concept. Apes are a cult like we've never seen. So I think you're seeing a lot more, you know, excitement, extremism, celebration about ape token. Plus, you know, it's a much bigger airdrop for the people that did receive it than Looks was. So, a lot of differences there. But I mean, yes, I was very excited about Looks for those reasons. How's the Gucci doing, my friend?
Yeah, JCV asking if I sold it. I have not. I have until tomorrow. I think 3 or 6 p.m. Pacific time. I always get mixed up when I see Pacific time and forget to do the math properly. But it's sometime tomorrow afternoon before these things are rendered useless. It's sitting at 1.4 ETH. I'm not sure. Like, I feel like I just diamond hand this. The supply is getting low. I mean, we were at 4,400 of them before they started getting burned. We're down to 1,200 of them now. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, JCV. Yeah, I knew it was sometime in that ballpark. I mean, I look at all of the collections that you can, you know, throw some Gucci gear on in terms of this, right? You have Gutter Cats, you have the Bored Apes, the Mutant Apes, the Bored Ape Kennel Club, Cryptoads, Cool Cats, Pudgy Penguins, World of Women, Wolf Game is in there. I think there's 2 more. You expand how many are in those collections, and you know we're probably looking at 100 to 150,000 PFPs that could be Guccified, and there's only 4,400 of these mint passes done. I gotta believe there's enough people in there that have some extra ETH to spend that want to throw some Gucci clothes on one of their NFTs.
Yeah.
So I think as the supply really starts to crank up and people see the last minute opportunity to get in there, I think I would start at this point with the clock dwindling down. Probably look to pull the trigger at 1.75 2 ETH. The volume has been there though. Like, I mean, people are buying these things up.
So
If
what
there's no
happens?
volume, I'd be panicking.
This disappears, like your 1.4 ETH will disappear tonight if you don't do something with it.
Tomorrow, yeah, basically. So it's kind of a game of chicken, right? Like,
right.
Are people that want these
So
just going to wait till the end?
So what? All right. It's very confusing to me. I don't understand why anyone would. All right. Why would? All right.
No, go for it.
I don't know. I saw Andrew Wang changing or giving his upside down cool cat a Gucci outfit yesterday, getting ready to do that. Endot says, bruh, where the fuck do I find these projects like Zombie Token? It completely flew under my radar. If you log into the AlphaMint server and go into the section that says celebrate wins and you read the most recent paragraph that was written there, you may figure out where you could find such plays.
Cass, what's going on, man?
GM, what's good?
GM, how's your portfolio looking this morning?
It's all right. It's not great.
Hit or miss. Oh yeah. It's all relative to what you're holding, right? Some of these projects are going on a run, and the other ones you're like, when?
Yeah. Some of them are meh.
Well, Habibis though.
There you go.
Well, BBs basically. Couple of news with them, if you haven't heard already. So they've given utilities to BBs. So if you stake a BB for 10 days, you get any whitelist under 50,000 oil. Okay, so that was the slight pump for BBs. Then Ramo kind of had a go at Gajira, saying basically Gajira is just like a manufactured high priced small cap collection that has no utility for shit. So that's been going around Twitter and stuff. And then he announced today that if you burn 10 Habibis, you will have a 300 special run Habibi. So
You'll get
some of the
what?
whales, right? So imagine all of these are like 1.5 ETH. Okay, if you it's between the number of 5 or 10. If you burn 5 or 10 Habibis, you'll get this one special collection Habibi, which will be capped to only 300. And his theory there is, because of the kind of mentality that these guys have got, which is all diamond-handed, if that brings the price up to, let's say, 50 ETH, that will correspond with the less amount of Habibis there, which would probably come down to about 2,000 collection. So that would skyrocket them, and then BBs in turn will turn into the 1 ETH floor. So that's his thought process. And he's going to do an incubator system, but actually do a proper one where they actually give support to people other than just posting their shit on Twitter and say, yeah, well done. There you go. Clap hand and on. So, yeah, that was the story with BBs. One thing I can see happening with ApeCoin, all right?
Did you pick any up?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I picked some up and held it because the thought process that I had was, if Bored Ape Yacht Club is the kind of Rolls Royce or signature NFT project for the everyday world, okay? So like with celebrities showing off their NFT projects, unfortunately they're not showing off their cool cats, they're showing off their Bored Ape Yacht Club, okay? So with that kind of presence, don't be surprised that people will start buying these tokens and holding it because it's the closest thing they're going to be able to get to a Bored Ape.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I purchased a little bit and held. But then, sorry.
No, yeah, I was going to say, it was just like, they did the original Bored Ape drop, the price went up high, Kennel Club came next, dropped it to the holders. Mutant Apes was the first great way to get into the club, so to speak. And now obviously the price of those were, I mean, shit, if we go back when they first went down, August, You can pick one of those up for 1-2 ETH, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty reasonable entry point into that club. I think the Bored Apes were in the 30 to 40 range at that time, if I recall correctly, and then they went on a run. And now,
I feel like the biggest idiot for that.
Biggest idiot. we all do. I was.
Well, yeah. Well, my wife's boyfriend told me to sell my ape last summer, but look at me now. Ha! Last
But yeah, so like, yeah, I think the token will do well long term, as long as Bored Apes are about and are kind of like the. Yeah,
I mean, they're it now, man. They're gonna keep buying. They're gonna buy up more projects. They're gonna, release their metaverse. They're going to, celebrities are going to continue to endorse them. I mean, here's my thing, and I've said this a couple times too. There's, 10,000 Bored Apes. There's easily thousands of like relatively big name celebrities that are eventually going to want to get their hands on one of these, and we all know they just don't really sell them.
Are you saying supply crisis?
I think that's maybe that might be a good way of putting
it. $1 million floor on Bored Apes. Who would have ever said that? What maniac would call for $1 million floor on Bored Apes?
But then saying that antiques, just going on antiques, could take away the emotion and feeling of NFTs and put it in the aspect of antiques. When there's only a certain run of certain something, sometimes it's classed as priceless. So there is that to consider as well. Like, these could end up being priceless in 5 years. You will not be able to afford them, and you'd have to give your life, your soul, and the rest of it to have one. So, 100%.
Steph Curry is never selling his Bored Ape. Right? Like all of these celebrities that buy them, they're never selling them. They're off the market. They're just going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. And then having a Bored Ape, as you said, become priceless. I mean, there's always a price for everything, but like priceless.
Yeah. You'd have to spend money plus your life to get it.
I'm always curious with these collections. How many of them are lost forever? I mean, not even just the hacked ones, but a wallet, someone loses the seed phrase, can't get in it.
20% of CryptoPunk.
Well,
is it? Yeah, I figured I would have maybe even thought with the age of CryptoPunks and when they dropped, it might have even been higher. But 20% sounds like
20% are wallets that haven't done anything since they got the punk. So many of those are presumed dead.
Yeah.
And also, remember the whole DAO hype and the rest of it. How many of those are just left there in wallets, just stowing away because the community can't do shit and they've walked away and done something else? So there's going to be loads. There's going to be loads. So,
for sure.
And then probably later on down the line, there's hunters looking for these fucking wallets, like looking for gems and treasure, because
like the treasure hunt that Bored Apes had on.
Could you imagine? Who knows?
Who knows?
But with the Bored Ape shit, Rug Radio pumped as well, because I think Farouk must have put up that he's going to be the first person to have an interview with Bored Ape in regards of the token. So their token,
I think that already happened too. They did Spaces last night, I think.
And the token, their tokens pumped. Yeah, their tokens pumped. Their product is pumped. And I think now it's just another week and a half till it all trickles down to secondary and tertiary NFT projects. Yeah, that's my thought.
It's a good day in NFTs for sure. Even if you didn't get the drop, which most of us didn't.
No,
it's gonna come down.
No, it will be.
Dickenza, 600,000 notable people in the world according to Wikipedia. Only 10,000 Bored Apes. Maths, exactly. Curious if you're on that page still. What is the definition of a notable person? I'm curious as to like what that threshold is to get into notable. Noteworthy. Sorry, Cass, I cut you off.
No, that's 60,000 in the world according to Wikipedia. Maths, Chain Scouts. Yes, they need. Yeah, because I'm thinking like, okay, the one when I decided to read through their white paper again to see if I missed a trick or see if I missed something. It doesn't seem like the supply's going down. There's 60% staked.
Yeah.
There's no news what this token does, and there's no liquidity pool. That's why no one really wants to buy it. And then we're
Right.
getting these passes. But these
Right.
passes allows us for whitelists, VX characters, and other stuff. Okay.
I think the
So,
ships too. Maybe I'm wrong about that. The ships.
yeah, there's meant to be some sort of ship that takes us to the NFT world. But this is the thing. I think the only good, I hope this team pulls through. Okay. I don't know the team personally. So
Right.
I hope the team pulls through. But the one thing that made me interested was the whole NFT world.
Yes.
Okay. And the fact that they are combining and using other tokens like Cheetah from Anonymize, which again was very interesting because you might not have a liquidity pool, but if you want to use an anonymized token into the ecosystem, then if the anonymized has a liquidity pool, you should be able to convert the tokens because you use them both.
Right.
And sell that way. So I thought, okay, that could be interesting.
Mhm.
But then I read on further on what they're looking to do, which then again makes more sense because I know crypto dads are doing something similar.
Mhm.
And it's that you're gonna have your play world and whatever shit you want to do, your metaverse is going to be an NFT world. That's where their metaverse is going to be.
Yep.
Now, as a landowner, you get X amount of tokens for your ecosystem. Okay. So what could be another aspect is they will be using Banite to convert into the NFT Worlds token, to use the NFT Worlds token to do your shit in NFT Worlds. So in a way, yes, it's for long-term play, it's a cheap entry into NFT Worlds, where you don't have to buy. You probably have land in your ship and your plot that you can stay there, and you don't have to buy land just for that. For the case of playing it, unless you want to build something there, which is a different ballgame.
I am actually excited for this because I do want to check out like NFT Worlds via this.
Yeah, I think just having exposure to it, and it's cheap.
Yeah.
So it could work out, but again, with no news, they got good collabs as well. And I would think to myself, would the founders of these collabs not see what these guys are doing to use their brand, for them to use their brand, basically? So like Anonymize, for example, would they really not do the in-depth research that they're going to be doing something? Yeah,
their partner list is impressive. The right people were there originally. Like you said, I literally agree with every single thing you just said. I think you and I share the same concern. Where's the team and what are they doing? Right, like that I think is the reason the price is suffering right now is because nothing's happening. Nobody knows what to do with the utility token except the pass, and the team just keeps saying, yeah, we're working on stuff, but there's not like,
I thought they were on vacation.
Timelines. Yeah, there's no whatever. So, I think the floor itself would just get off the mat if they would go out and do spaces, if they would do interviews and talk about the game and put out infographics and teases and all that stuff. They need some PR. That's my biggest concern. But yeah, I share all the same bullish points as you. I do think this team is legit. I do think that Anonymize and MVHQ and all of them did kick the tires. So there is something there. It's taking a little longer than I think us holders would like, at least to get this announcement.
But then also it is a bear market, and it could be a case where it's because there are some projects like because it's cheap, people stack up, and because the right people stack up.
Yeah.
The floor doesn't need to be, as long as the ecosystem works. Yeah. And I think my concern is a apart from getting a pass, which you could get after 4 days,
Yeah.
and being in the NFT space, even if they were able just to stretch out how long you can get the passes for,
Right.
at least that way it doesn't leave your consumer to think what's going to happen next, because you're still waiting for the pass. You're still building for the pass.
I'm hoping they'll have announcements and stuff to go before the passes are even like a quarter minted. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think it should take that long. At least that's the vibe.
I can mint another 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah.
And I am not minting, because why am I spending gas when I don't know what I'm minting for?
Yeah. No hurry. Yeah, there's no hurry either. I mean, you'll see them getting close to the end, and you could just plunk in whatever you've saved up.
Exactly. At least, even if the passes was to show the VX characters or VX characters, they could have had the VX characters worked on with the amount of time they've done.
Yeah, give us
marketing and shit. Yeah,
you think you'd see a preview if we're close to ready, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I hope it's not a case where we needed the money first before we do it. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it was a very cheap. It was kind of a cheap mint in that respect. They didn't raise a ton.
Was it 0.05?
No, it was point. It was 0.068, right?
Right. Yeah.
But it was like what 7,000 of these things or whatever. It wasn't like a huge raise you would expect a video game company to need to build a game. But no, you could be completely right here. You know what I'd say too? It's a great entry project for somebody getting into NFTs. I mean, that it is right now. When you think about the possible potential here, people are always asking me what P2E should they get into, and it's like any good P2E has a high cost of entry at this point if it's actually having a good yield. So it's hard to tell people, but these are good looking JPEGs, a lot of potential on the team, very, very cheap entry, and they offer a lot of those things in that Discord that if you're new to NFTs would be very novel to you, like the alpha room, the node that they have set up.
Great point.
It's a very cheap entry into that. And if you're new to NFTs, that would be a very comprehensive ecosystem you're buying into for basically nothing right now.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing. Oh, sorry, Artie.
No, I was just gonna say, like, if you were talking to someone that's like, hey, I have $1,500 to get into NFTs, I don't see why suggesting picking up 2 or 3 of these with a longer time horizon, even just to get into that, because I mean, it's such a great point that you made about just being able to get into their community and their alpha room, their node and whatnot. I mean, it's kind of a win-win, because you can look at it as a long-term asset hold, because there's upside, a very high upside, and a lot lower downside compared to a lot of these other things, right? But again, you're getting a kind of a secondary benefit out of it as well, which is at the end of the day pretty important too. We see all kinds of different alpha passes be worth a lot of money just for the simple fact that people get value out of them on the Discord or whatever, right? So, yeah.
Talking about alpha passes and shit, what do you think of the new alpha meta with alpha groups selling passes left, right, and center?
Yeah. I have no idea.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying against AlphaMint.
No. I know you're not. Yeah.
But just as in the meta at the moment, because I'm sorry.
I think it was born of a need to leverage like community into being able to get whitelist spots, because the meta that we were in during that was you have to get on the whitelist or you ain't minting this shit. And I don't necessarily think that meta is going to stay either.
Well, it was funny to me that all these alpha groups started dropping the moment there was no alpha left. Like, I even looked, did you see the Habibi's last post with like the 4 things that he listed that they got in the alpha room the last week? Like, everything was barely a 2x. There's like no alpha out there. He was like, we got something from 0.04 to 0.09. I'm like, oh, fabulous. And it just all these alpha rooms are springing up. It just seems at an interesting time. But you could say, as we're going into the next major bull market, it's the perfect time for all of them to be setting up. So
yeah, 100%.
Right. It's funny, but it's Also, I find the new whitelist meta like wave catchers and Habibis very interesting.
Mhm.
The whitelist marketplace in these cities is very interesting. I think it's much more viable amongst the decentralized max min or profit maxi traders. I think that meta is okay with them. Once that shit starts to spill into cool cats and they find out what's going on with whitelists, I think there's going to be hands thrown in there. Whitelists are being sold now. People are selling whitelists. What kind of and I don't think they know yet. I think the idiots in like very mainstream projects don't even know what a wave catchers or a Habibis is yet. And when they
none of them do.
When they get wind that there's a whitelist marketplace, all shit is going to hit the fan. But I do love that meta. That's
I honestly think that was one of the greatest things that Rug Radio did was having the mint pass. I mean, allowing people to actually have that choice of like, do I want to sell this and profit a little bit from it to somebody that actually wants to mint this and whatnot. I think that's one of the big, huge things that Cool Pets could have done, right? They got all of these people to end. What's that?
Cool.
So let's not talk about Cool Pets.
Cool Pets.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, I get what you're doing here. Yeah, no.
Dude, you know what? That's Cool Pets. Yeah, I'm just giving my own opinion here.
I didn't mean to go there, Cass. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. But Cool Pets, man, like, come on, like. The reason why I was so excited for that fucking mint.
I'm gonna give Cass the full stage here.
So excited. I was so excited for that mint. Going to FMC. Oh, I've got Cool Pets. I'm going to be part of the Cool Cats ecosystem. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's a game. Oh, we're going to have fire. Oh, we've got fuck all. Yeah. Sorry. Like, we're talking about we're going to have fire or water or air, or we don't want the green one, but then it can work out. Dude, it's been, how long has it been? Has it been a month? Has it been
more? A month? They launched at the same time as Raid Party, and Raid Party took a month to get going.
And I don't see even, I might be wrong, maybe because I'm in the Cool Pets chat and it's not as cool as the Cool Cats chat. But like I'm wondering, dude, like, because I love community, big on community, blah 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 blah. I'm not seeing nothing. Even the whitelist spots that they give, dude, like, I feel so second rate in that freaking server. Like, I get the scraps of the Cool Cats and I don't like it. And it just makes me think, like, if the game was running at least, I wouldn't be thinking these things in your server because I'll be more interested in the game. But yeah, man, like they need to pull their finger out of their backside, I think.
Yep.
Any news on when that actually is?
It's in beta right now. They've let a bunch of Cool Cats and Cool Pets start to play. I don't know how they chose who got to play in the beta. And everyone who's playing is all, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. But who knows what's, part of the cult and what is actually true.
What's your opinion on it? Like, forget like being...
Sold my egg a few weeks ago.
See, like, this is what I should have done.
At 2 ETH. Yeah, I sold my egg.
Oh, don't, man.
I did it after...
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, they had the town hall. And in the town hall, they said everything would be ready next Tuesday. And we had already had 2 delays. And that weekend, I said to myself, if they delay one more time, this thing's going to fucking nuke. So are Cool Cat. Everything's going to nuke. And I almost never sell anything, but something just said to me, I'm selling this thing at 2 ETH. And I sold it at 2 ETH. And on Tuesday, they delayed again indefinitely, and everything nuked.
Dude. Well, I just hope my diamond hand works, and I hope the theory that
Did you mint yours, Cass, or did you buy it?
No, I minted mine.
I think they're a buy here, Cass.
Anyhow, I bought it at 2 ETH and this happened, dude. I would be selling life out of shit.
No, but I think they're a buy here, Cass. I actually think
they are.
I was gonna say the same thing as free market. Would not if I held through all of this, I wouldn't be selling here.
No, there's no point selling now.
It's not going lower. It definitely
is going lower than that.
No.
We even said like low price 1 ETH. We said that.
Right.
So,
and they are at max FUD, right? Listen to us right now, right? We're angry, we're dejected. It's like, cool cats, blah, 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 but that's max FUD. Like, I don't think that it can get worse. Look, never say never, right? Hold my beer and all that shit. But I just don't think it's gonna get worse from here. I think we're at max FUD, and I'm just a little like, whatever. I'm done with it. I have enough P2E in my portfolio. I don't need a Pokemon game as well. But if this is your thing, and if you do, I do think they're at a bottom, and I do think cool cats and cool pets are going to rally really nicely here very soon.
So. Shit. What's your thoughts on orcs?
Sorry, say it again. I missed that.
What's your thoughts on orcs? Have you got an orc? Are you into orcs?
Yeah, so no, we did the Orc AMA. Well, it wasn't even an AMA. It was our weekly community spaces. And we had the org team on because things have been turned upside down in that economy. What they did on purpose was try to get raid percentage up, because what they had noticed was that in the first 2 ally phases, they had managed to start getting raid percentage up, and then it plateaued because of the dynamic that they created during the ogre phase, where whales and even small players would just level up 1 super raider. And because the raids were so short and so Zug intensive, it was basically like the moment that raider got back, you just had enough Zug to send him back in. So you were basically just sending the same 1 or 2 raiders into these very high ROI pools like the Leviathan, which are returning 60 bone shards to the superb outcome. This went quicker than I think the org team wanted. And one of their main objectives this time was to slow things down. I don't think that they anticipated how the Horde would react in such a way. How degen, I guess, the Horde was. The day that Rogues went live, we burned 12,000 training dummies to level up our orcs to start to raid. The problem was, burning all those training dummies barely got, I don't know what the exact percentage was, but it got very few orcs up to the levels where they could actually trade the high ROI loot pools. And the thing is, those high ROI loot pools are much lower ROI than they used to be. So to match a similar production to the last phase, you need multiple orcs raiding at a time, because the raids are so long and they bring back so little Zug compared to last phase. Problem is, there aren't enough training dummies in the world. We burned them all on that first day. And now people have to sit and wait for those trading dummies to materialize. And what's happening? Zug and potions, which we don't need right now, are stacking up like crazy. All of a sudden, we're producing 3 times as much Zug as we're burning on a daily basis. This has thrown the economy completely upside down. And while they intended it to move in this direction, they didn't intend it to move in this direction so fast and so much. They admitted that. So they are not concerned. While they didn't expect this extreme, this is what they thought would happen. And they do have things coming very soon that should start to modify that. So first of all, it will start to self-correct a bit just as people get to finally level up the players that they need to start raiding the loot pools. We also have dungeon crawls that are imminent that will happen this phase coming up, and that's going to be a huge Zug and potion sink. But still, they kind of messed up, and I don't think it has any ramifications long term, and it really is only affecting farmers right now. People who were intent on farming and taking money out of the game are hurt right now because asset prices are down, Zug prices are down. It's not the time to farm. Your highest ROI this phase is going to be max minting. So you have a lot of angry farmers, and even the people who are playing are obviously not feeling good, because anytime your economy is cut 50%, it's not a great feeling. So that's basically the state of orcs right now. I do expect Zug to fall under $1. I think it's going to get to 80 cents based on these dynamics. I think orcs probably get to 2 ETH, allies maybe to half an ETH. I think it'll be the cheapest opportunity for new players to ever get in orcs going forward.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that team is going to, yeah. I would say figure it out, right? They'll figure it out.
One thing that orcs have always been able to point to is the NFT token yield rankings, and they've always been at the top. They've always been in the top 3. This week, they were knocked out of the top 3. The top 3 are Raid Party Heroes, Eternal Elves, and Metroverse. Those would be your 3 highest yielding P2Es at the moment. Orcs is a close 4th, and this is really based on ROI of floor price. So your best value right now is a Raid Party Hero, because a Raid Party Hero costs 0.7 and will make you about $75 a day if you stake that immediately. That's a really good ROI. I mean, you buy an orc for 2.3 right now, he's making you about $30 a day. So you can see the difference in ROI there based on those numbers.
Is that really real?
That's really real. A Raid Party Hero right now is 0.7. If you stake it, it will earn you about 3 confetti. Look, each hero is different. It depends on your hero's whatever. There's a little bit of variation. You'll make between 2 or 3 confetti a day, and confetti is $25 right now, and that's 0.7 on one here. And all you need is 1 hero to start. You don't need anything else but 1 hero.
I think that was a great change that they made too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was, I think, you know, somebody that wanted to play the game was staring down the barrel of buying 1 hero and 1 fighter and getting off to a slow start. Now you can have 1 hero in there, just plugging away. It's going to take you a while to be able to mint a new fighter, but you'll get there and you can grow.
Yeah, but look, if you were just looking at it, you know, we had somebody in AlphaMint who bought an orc just to farm. And this is, I love, you know, people look down on farmers and say they should be, I love that people just buy these to farm. I think it's an important part of the ecosystem, and it's something that makes these so great. It's part of the appeal. And orcs rugged those people this phase. I mean, it wasn't intentionally to rug the farmers. It was a side effect of what they did, and it was with good intention for the overall playability of the game. But they rugged the farmers. And right now, a Raid Party Hero, you can get 3 heroes for the same price as a Genesis orc, and you're making $225 a day on those 3 heroes. That is pretty damn good. That's very, very, very impressive. And it's even more impressive if you believe, like I do, that Raid Party is still undervalued. That's the scary part. They're making this insane ROI right now, and I think people still doubt Raid Party. I think most people still think Raid Party is either only for the rich or a failed product because of the launch and delay and all that bad stuff around it. When if you look, it is the #1 yielding P2E out there right now by a lot. It trumps Eternal Elves at #2. So.
Well, they didn't accelerate that cycle, right? You got the initial reaction of everybody going into Raid Party is they put it in, and like 2 hours later they're like, oh, I'm up to 1.3 confetti. And they're like, that's it? And they kind of did this thing. But you slowly accumulate them. Confetti's actually worth quite a bit. You know, it takes time to get to your first fighter. It took me a week, and I had a pretty good team in there. Definitely not one of the best. I'm not competing. You know, I think I was like just barely in the top 1,000 or something like that. But I got there, and over the course of a week, I was able to mint another one, right? And it's such a stark contrast to these other games where like you just get in there again, like Wizards and Dragons, and like mint. Like it's just like you're growing. Supply up. Token, all this shit is just like it's within 3 days. It's like the cycle is just parabolic, and then everyone's like, I'm fucking out of here, man. This isn't sustainable, right?
Yeah,
this feels fucking sustainable to me.
My party is yielding over 2 ETH a week on 10 ETH of asset value. That's fucking bananas. 25% compounded too.
But it hasn't gone parabolic either. That's
the thing. It hasn't gone parabolic. I think people are sleeping on Raid Party. I'll be, especially if you look who is in that chat every night. I do post the screenshots sometimes in the DGen Dojo. We be mixing it up with Pranksy, with Otto, with Not Katarina, with Andrew Wang, with Greg 164969352, whatever the hell that guy is. I mean, these are the who's who of NFTs and P2Es. People are sleeping so hard on Raid Party, and I'm here for it.
Did you get into Raid Party, Cass, or no?
No, because I was annoyed with the whole rate drop thing. How it was dropping in prices, so on and so forth. And I still don't. I haven't done the research. There was a big kind of chunk of a white paper.
Oh, it was huge, yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, oh, really?
It's easy to grasp. Lots to delve into. You know what I mean? Like it is that good. That is the sign of a good game too. You know, even just in traditional video games, you should be able to jump in and intuitively know what you're supposed to do. But then there's like a depth that, you know, once you start getting a little bit good, you're like, oh, I can do this, or oh, I can think about that, or like, and this has that too, right? Like it seems like there's a bunch of simple choices, but when you actually start to work out, you know, the math behind it, the risk reward behind it, and some of the choices that go down, there's definitely some different strategies, different ideas, and stuff like that. So
what's the difference between a fighter and a hero?
Okay.
And why is the fighter floor higher with a higher supply?
All right. So fighters so a hero is basically the person leading your party. Your hero is like your vehicle. You need a hero to even have fighters playing in the game. It leads the party. Before, fighters didn't add to the damage. In other words, your damage is your yield, okay? How much you damage the bosses is how much you yield. And the heroes didn't add anything. They changed that. They decided to give the heroes the ability to have damage as well. So the hero, you could, for lack of a better metaphor, view as a ship. All right, you need to be in this ship to go to battle, and the fighters are actually what's fighting. Now, the fighters are the ones that actually deliver real damage. You know, your hero delivers very little damage relatively, so the fighters are the ones that are actually yielding you confetti. The hero yields like I said, if you only stake a hero, you would earn maybe 2 to 3 confetti a day, depending on which hero it was. Your fighters, I mean, like I said, my fighters are yielding me, 21 compared to the heroes 3. So they yield you a lot more confetti, I guess, is the easy answer as to why fighters are more expensive.
The other thing is too, right? Like you have your hero has between 4 and 6 slots for the fighters. So for every hero, people that are really trying to maximize their output in the game need likely 6 fighters to go in there, right?
That's why
to upgrade the fighters, you have to burn another fighter, right? To increase the output of those fighters. So now the fighters, a lot of the floor is going up because there's this constant buy pressure on OpenSea for shit tier fighters because the whole goal is to just burn them, right?
There are going to be very few fighters left you are going to be surprised. Like, even though there's 50,000 of them, you have to burn them to upgrade the ones that you have fighting. And when you burn them, you get actually a higher output or a higher yield than if you just minted another fighter. So there's incentive to burn them. And once we get really deep into the game and heroes become even more utility and even more valuable, you have to burn 20 fighters to mint a hero. And that's going to be big down the. So I think that's why you're seeing this weird disparity where even though originally heroes were the expensive ones and fighters flipped them on their head, it's by design and the nature of the early part of this game, and you will see that flip again eventually. That's why if I was just looking at this from a profit standpoint, I love heroes here. I would be stacking, if you didn't, and Alan asked in the comments here, he said, so you can stake a hero and make confetti with actually playing the game? Yeah, buy heroes. Now you have to have them in different wallets. You can't have multiple heroes in the same wallet playing the game. Each wallet gets to start its own party, but you could buy 4 heroes, spread them amongst 4 wallets. You'd be making 10 confetti a day. You're not playing, you're not trying to mint anymore. And I think the asset value of those heroes is going to go up dramatically over the next weeks and months as the game progresses. So heroes to me are the play right now. But if you're Pranksy, if you're Otto, if you're one of these guys who is playing this game because they love playing the game, they need fighters. There's not enough of them out there, even with the higher supply. So you see Pranksy in there literally every day, aping fighters just because he has to keep filling up these slots. I mean, he's never going to not have full slots on his players. He's just going to keep buying more fighters to always be because they have incentivized not just to play the game normally, but also to be the highest ranked in the game. There's a leaderboard, and you have the richest guys in this entire NFT industry battling each other for clout right now. That is benefiting all of us peons on the bottom as they raise all our floors and raise the confetti price as they are just aping in for clout and for bragging rights amongst their friends. It's pretty great.
Never underestimate the power of a leaderboard. It's for real. I mean, you go back to the OG days of gaming in the arcade, and I mean, how many times people just kept pumping quarters in or dollar, whatever the token was, because they were just trying to get on that leaderboard. They wanted their little 3-character name up there for bragging rights, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'd agree with that.
Leaderboards are so good. They're just so good at that. Yeah, it's an interesting discussion. There's going to be a lot more to come from that game for sure. There's it's going to be relics. There's items. The 20 fighters per hero thing is definitely what you should be thinking about there, though. Yeah, for sure. So, all right, guys, coming up on 2 hours. I think probably a good time to wrap it up. Free market. Anything else you want to talk about?
That is it, sir.
I think we covered it all. Perfect. Cass, thank you so much for coming up, shooting the shit with us, going over some JPEGs. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, and I'll catch up with you next week.
Oh yeah, for sure. Got it. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to our Friday edition. Next week we will be back on track with a regular schedule, Monday through Friday, 9:30. As always, if you tuned in late, we went through a bunch of news. ETH coming around. ETH 2.0 is coming around. GameStop doing some stuff. Spotify, great discussion we had about music and Spotify leaning into Web3, seeing where they're going to go with it, whether it's a marketplace. Who knows? They're hiring for it, though. If you have any skills, maybe apply for it. Sounds like a good job. A lot of discussion centered around ApeCoin. That was, obviously the talk of the NFT town, but very, very promising stuff on the horizon as the apes are going to be very liquid now and looking to spend some money. We're already seeing the effects of it in the NFT space and going to look for that to continue. Talked about Raid Party a little bit at the end there. Went over some projects that are the recipients of a pump. Lots of good stuff. So as always, it'll be up on YouTube and Spotify for you to listen to if you tuned in late. Guys, thank you so much again. We are going to take off. Enjoy your weekend and free market. Get us out of here, my friend.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gens.